is Ray Roberts, and I'm the Citizens Climate Lobby co-coordinator for Pennsylvania. And I want to thank Mayor Peduto and also our city council members for having jointly endorsed the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act. And we also have a representative here from Allegheny County Chief Executive Rich Fitzgerald's office here, Jess Mooney. And so just to thank members of the staff for being here, thank members of the news media for being here as well. Sorry, I'm a little nervous. I know that weekend mornings when I was growing up, I would always watch the Saturday morning cartoons, and I remember the song, I'm just a bill, yes, I'm only a bill, and I got as far as Capitol Hill. I didn't imagine back then, though, that I would be saying these things about a bill that we have been able to have introduced in Congress this year, the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act. This bill is the best first step to really controlling the greenhouse gas pollution that is overheating our planet. And today, City Council unanimously added their voices to Mayor Peduto and also Allegheny County Chief Executive Rich Fitzgerald in jointly announcing their support of having this bill pass through Congress as the best first step to address climate change. So, rather than have me say any more things, I'd like to thank Councilwoman Deb Gross.
Thank you. Thanks. I want to acknowledge the Citizens Climate Action and, did I say that? Did I say that right? Lobby. Citizens Climate Lobby. I want to get that right. And especially Mr. Roberts for keeping us informed about this issue now and keeping up the pressure for a couple of years. It's certainly time for action rather than talk. Last month, over 1,000 youth and worried citizens marched in Pittsburgh to call for action on our global warming crisis. June of this year was the hottest June ever recorded in history. July was the hottest July ever recorded since measurements began to be recorded. September was the hottest September since humans began to write. We had to open cooling centers this summer to protect our poorest citizens from extreme and deadly heat. Global warming is leading to more extreme floods and landslides, and we've seen those here in the city of Pittsburgh. City Council is taking action and doing our part with our city's climate action plan. Our city cannot tackle this problem on our own, however. Federal action is urgently needed. The Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act, Congressional House Bill 763, will protect people from rising energy costs. It will cut greenhouse gas pollution by over 40% in the first 12 years. This is why I am proud to join my colleagues on City Council in endorsing this Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act of 2019, H.R. 763. We are calling on our state senators and House members to take up this bill and pass it. And again, it doesn't matter if it's perfect. Let's do it now. Let us take action rather than continue debates. There is time to get started, and the time is now. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gross, and also all of City Council for unanimously passing this Will of Council resolution today, endorsing H.R. 763, the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act. And we also have a representative from Allegheny County Chief Executive Rich Fitzgerald's office. This is Jess Mooney. And
Thank you. Thank you. I'm happy to be here today on behalf of County Executive Rich Fitzgerald to support the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act. We've been doing what we can here on the local level to reduce our share of greenhouse gas emissions. We've made significant changes in Allegheny County, both big and small, to become more sustainable. As just one example, the county executive has charged our county parks department with creating net zero parks, and we're working to make 3 of our parks net zero, meaning that we'll create as much energy on site using renewable sources as we use at those parks. In addition, Allegheny County was one of the first to sign on to the 2030 district with the Green Building Alliance, and we've committed to making our buildings more efficient and to reduce the amount of energy we use by 2030. Our authorities are also walking the walk. The Allegheny County Airport Authority just recently announced their first of its kind microgrid that will be using an 8-acre solar farm in part to fuel the microgrid. The airport will be entirely powered by energy produced on site, making their resiliency and independence an important part of their growth strategy. In addition, the Allegheny County Port Authority is converting some of their diesel buses to electric, meaning that those electric buses will be producing zero exhaust, thereby improving the air quality for our residents. Projects like these, combined with the great work of our local leaders, will only go so far in reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. We know if we're going to reach the critical decrease in our emissions, we need the federal government, we need their support, and we need their help. We are proud that many of our congressional leaders have already signed on to support the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act, but we today urge action on this important legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jess. And also announcing the joint endorsement of H.R. 763, the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act, we have Mayor Peduto.
Thank you. It's an honor, and I thank Councilwoman Strasburger, Councilwoman Gross, and all of City Council in endorsing this legislation as well. It's an honor to stand with the county executive and be able to say to Washington what we're already starting and doing right here in Pittsburgh. You know, we have a bold initiative with our climate action plan that will reduce the amount of energy that we use and water that we use as a city government by 50% by 2030. We'll have zero landfill by 2030, and we'll work to using 100% renewable energy in our operations of city government by 2030. But as was stated earlier, it's still not enough. We need the federal government to work with us. Under this act, by 2030, we can reduce GHG emissions by 40%, which will have a direct effect on being able to assist not only the efforts that we're doing as cities around this country, but as states around this country, in a federal opportunity to work across the aisle in a bipartisan fashion to begin the process of legislation that will have a direct effect. So I thank you. I thank you for allowing Pittsburgh to be a part of this, and we look forward to working with you to see our local Congress members and our 2 senators supporting this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Peduto. We also have Councilwoman Erica Strasburger, who has joined us as far as like being able to speak to the Energy Innovation Act. Come on.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Roberts, and to everyone here today. I'm proud to stand with my colleague, Councilwoman Gross, and all of my colleagues on council, as well as Mayor Peduto and the county executive here today. You know, one of the challenges in communicating the urgency of global warming is that people perceive it to be far away and far away, far into the future and also far away. And it's not just about island nations that are seeing sea level rises anymore. We're seeing it hit us here at home. We are seeing increased flooding and sewage backups in people's basements. We are seeing record numbers of landslides that are diverting tax dollars to cleanup of landslides rather than other capital spending that could otherwise be used on paving roads or fixing senior centers or rec centers or reclaiming vacant lots. So we're really seeing it hit us here in our pocketbooks here at home, and also are affecting the quality of our lives. So the time for sitting back on our heels has passed. We are, as you've heard, doing as much as we really can and are allowed to do at the city and the county level, and really ask to prioritize this kind of an approach on the federal level, because until There are incentives, both carrots and sticks, that allow for global warming to hit people where it really matters, their pocketbooks. It will forever be an externality. So I commend the Citizens Climate Lobby for continuing to beat the drum on this important bill and continuing to urge members of Congress to continue to introduce the bill every year, every session, and to work to get more and more members of Congress and to support it. And I urge our local members of Congress to support it as well. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you. So this best first step needs to happen sooner rather than later. So I'd like to invite everyone who's either reading or watching this to learn more about the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act, and also to contact their members of Congress, especially Senators Toomey and Senator Casey, to work together in a bipartisan way. And your House representatives need to hear from you to make this happen sooner. So please check out the Energy Innovation and Carbon Dividend Act and contact your elected leaders. And I want to thank our elected leaders here at the local level for joining and speaking out with one voice to call on Congress to take big action to address our climate crisis.